Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles. I want to welcome you guys to the conversation. So the question is today, will Stephen A. Smith ever give Kawhi Leonard his props, the props that he deserves? That's what I want to get into this video today. So you all know that we did some videos in the past about the whole Stephen A. Smith not really want to give it up and give Kawhi Leonard his just due. But I thought that after he picked Kawhi to lose in the Eastern Conference semifinals and the Eastern Conference finals last season, and in the finals, I thought that he would have woken up and saw the light and realized that this boy ain't nothing to play with. But apparently that all kind of went out the window. Now he kind of, Stephen A. Smith, he likes to give Kawhi Leonard underhanded, compliments and comments and be like, yeah, I like him. I mean, I got love for him, but I just think he's not that dude. So before I get too far into it, there was a question that was posed on First Take when they were talking about who will have a bigger impact this year. Now, I want you guys to just check out the response that Stephen A. Smith gave to that question.
If we're talking about the entire rest of the way, what Kawhi gives you as a premium is you're going to win a championship because you have him. That's the difference. When the games mean the most, he's consistently the best player on the floor. Trot out the Greek freak. Kawhi is the best player on the floor.
Where do you get this consistency from? Where do you get this consistency from? I love Kawhi Leonard, but bottom line is last year was the year that he did it. Where's all this consistency? You act like Kawhi Leonard has been winning 3, 4, 5 championships. He's been in the finals every year. He's done X, Y, Z. That's not the case. Kawhi Leonard won a championship when he was not even a secondary option. He was a defensive wizard, no doubt about it. So he was a finals MVP because of his defensive prowess years ago against Miami. But then came back a year, 2 years later, and Kevin Durant and OKC smoked him. He showed up against Golden State, but Jaja Pajulia undercut him. So he was out in game one when they had a 23-point lead in game one against a Golden State Warriors team that could explode at the drop of a hat and could have come back. So last year was the real year that he did it, and it was against Joel Embiid in the 76ers where he sat up there and won that game 7 with that basket, and then he showed up against the Greek freak. But you act like he's been doing this for 10 years. In game one against a Golden State Warriors team that could explode at the drop of a hat and could have come back. So last year was the real year that he did it, and it was against Joel Embiid in the 76ers where he sat up there and won that game 7 with that basket, and then he showed up against the Greek freak. But you act like he's been doing this for 10 years.
Now, if you listen to the way he spoke, he was basically coming at Max with the whole premise of, what has Kawhi Leonard done in his career? I mean, it's like this dude just recently got hot. It's not like as if he's been doing this since forever. I don't see why you guys are giving him all these props and saying that he's this great, player. I don't see all of these great things that he's done. I don't see, why you guys giving him all this praise and, adoration and saying he's so good. I mean, what has he done? He's only been doing this, a couple of times, and, what's the big deal? Now, I think the reason why that irks a lot of people who listen to Stephen A. Smith is because he's ready to crown other dudes to be better than Kawhi Leonard that have no business being, in that same conversation. So for example, whenever Stephen A. Smith and, Max Kellerman or whomever, or is talking to someone about the Lakers versus the Clippers, he will give you every single reason in the book to say why the Lakers are going to be better. One of his famous statements is, the Lakers have 2 of the top 5 best players in the world, Anthony Davis and LeBron James. Now, whoever he has in that list, I just hope that within that top 5, I hope that he has Kawhi Leonard sitting at the top. But Stephen A. Smith, I believe, firmly believes that LeBron James is a better basketball player than Kawhi Leonard. Now, I don't know if he's looking at that over, a long extended period of time, if you're looking at the careers from a macro standpoint, or if he's looking at it currently. I think for sure on a macro level, meaning on a longevity level, for sure, I think that he 100% believes that LeBron James is better than Kawhi Leonard. But on a micro level in the short term, I'm not sure, but I think he also believes the same thing. Now, if we look at Kawhi Leonard's averages this season, he's scoring about 27.2 points a game, getting you about 7.5 rebounds, 5.3 assists. He's shooting 46% from the floor, 37.5% from the three-point line. He's shooting 89% from the free throw line, and he's getting you 1.8 steals a game, and he's just been a dynamo this season. And all of these are career numbers for him. But the important thing to pay attention is whenever Kawhi Leonard seems to go up against LeBron, he always seems to come out on top. Kawhi and LeBron James have met each other in the regular season. They've played each other, I believe, 11 times, and Kawhi has won 8 out of those 11 games to LeBron James' 3. Now, their shooting percentages are pretty much the same, around 47% a game. Kawhi Leonard in their matchup is averaged about 23.5 points to LeBron James' 24. Now, LeBron is averaged about 7.6 assists because he is a better playmaker, but Kawhi has averaged about 7.5 rebounds a game. So in the matchups that they played against each other, he's been the better rebounder. We're not talking about career stats. We're just talking about head-to-head matchups. Now, the danger that I think Stephen A. Smith is going to get into is that the more he consistently seems to pick against Kawhi, I think he's going to lose some credibility with some basketball fans who follow things that he says. Now, to the casual fan that watches First Take, you may not be able to see all of the instances when Stephen A. Smith is talking about basketball, maybe because you're busy, because you just catch a few episodes when you come home, maybe in the morning when they're showing First Take, you're at work, so maybe you catch 1 or 2 episodes on YouTube when you come home at night, whatever it is, on your lunch break. So you may not have the opportunity to see all of the times that he speaks, about the Clippers versus the Lakers and all of that. So that's understandable. But for people like me, I'm a part-time content creator and I talk about basketball, so I try to stay as much in vogue with what's happening in the NBA. So I have to watch as many videos and see what these guys are saying just so we can come up with content ideas. So I have to keep abreast of what's happening to be able to make sense, or to be at least be concurrent when I'm talking. So I've seen Stephen A. Smith consistently not give Kawhi Leonard his props, and he's giving people like Anthony Davis more props over Kawhi Leonard. I have no idea why he does that. I'm sure he believes that Anthony Davis is a better basketball player than Kawhi Leonard. I absolutely disagree. If you remove Kawhi Leonard off the Toronto Raptors and inserted Anthony Davis on the Toronto Raptors of last season, I don't think they beat Philadelphia, and I definitely don't think that they beat Giannis Antetokounmpo and those boys in the Eastern Conference Finals, let alone go beat the Golden State Warriors in the finals. I think Kawhi Leonard is a completely different player. He's a big game player. He's on a completely different level than Anthony Davis. We're not just talking about numbers. We're talking about people that know how to win basketball games and win championships. Kawhi Leonard knows how to win basketball games. Forget about playing well in a basketball game. Almost anyone can have a good game or play well in a regular season, but there are very few players, there's a handful of players that know how to win games. For example, another person that knows how to win games, who's a great leader, is Chris Paul. People like LeBron know how to win games and others, but there's no way you're going to be telling me that you're going to put Anthony Davis on raw talent, all this other stuff ahead of Kawhi Leonard. It just doesn't work in my book, because I've seen Kawhi Leonard deliver and put up beast mode numbers in the most important times in the NBA season, which is in the playoffs, which is when it really, 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 really counts. And I've seen the Lakers go up against the Clippers 2 times already this season. I think Anthony Davis has scored 2 or 4 points in both of the fourth quarter combined. So if this is the guy that you're telling me is somehow better than Kawhi, I'm not seeing it. I haven't seen it. And I'm not really trying to hear about, he's top 5. And when they meet up, when the pressure's on, Kawhi Leonard elevates, and these dudes just seem somehow to just fizzle out. So for him to have other players ahead of Kawhi, I don't know why. I think that if the Clippers have success and Kawhi Leonard continues to be successful and win championships in his career, I think it's going to end up making people like Stephen A. Smith look bad. I think the thing that a lot of sports analysts have is that this thing where they're afraid to admit where they're wrong, which is very bad. You don't want to become too dogmatic in your thinking. You don't want to become too beholden to your original ideas. It's okay to be flexible. It's okay to say I was wrong. It's okay to say, hey, look, I need to rethink the way I'm seeing this thing. Just because you feel that Kawhi Leonard hasn't been that dude over the past 10 years does not mean that he's not the dude right now. And you talk about him like as if he hasn't accomplished anything. And this is his 8th year in the NBA. Now, in those 8 seasons, what has he been able to accomplish? He's been a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, 2 times NBA championship, 2 times Finals MVP, he's been on 2 All-First NBA teams. He's been on three all-first defensive teams, 2 second teams on defense. So that's 5 defensive teams. And he's led the league in steals once. Now you may say, well, he's only been doing it for a shorter period of time, but let's see what his career is going to look like within the next 6 to 8 years. Within the next 6 to 8 years, this dude can cause a lot of havoc. He's going to make more all-star teams, you know that. He's most likely going to win more NBA championships. And it's going to be pretty interesting to see that if Kawhi Leonard ends up equaling or surpassing LeBron James in the NBA Finals with less attempts, I think that's much more impressive than going to the finals 100 times and only winning 10 times. The dude has been to the finals 3 times. He's lost one, won twice. Okay, Kobe went to the finals 7, won 5 out of 2. Okay, but if this dude does it in like 5 trips and win 4 chips, I mean, what are we talking about? No, we're not counting how many times you went to the finals and lost. Nobody cares. We're talking about what you've actually accomplished. Getting to the finals and losing is not an accomplishment. So I think that he needs to chill out with not giving this dude his props because he is all world. And I think he's gonna end up eating his words when these dudes meet up in the playoffs if they do this year. I think it's just gonna happen. And it's going to make, Max Kellerman is going to be there letting him know, like, hey, dude, man, you are late to the party. And I think eventually you'll have to give him his props. But for whatever reason, he just doesn't want to give him his props right now. So the question is, do you agree with me that Stephen A. Smith, rarely or if ever gives Kawhi Leonard his props? Or do you think that, maybe I'm putting too much into it and maybe we need to be talking about somebody else? Whatever you think about it, please let me know your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We'll leave it in the comment section. Again, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified when all of our newest and hottest content comes out. Once again, this is Charles here from DreamersPro. Wishing you guys an amazing day. Peace.